Gonna do one thing at a time. Jackie could do it. Men can't multitask.
You're sucking up to Jackie.
Okay, everybody, welcome. Good to see you all. And we always kick off the meeting with our motto, and that is
Service above self.
And why don't we all stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and I will ask you all to observe a moment of silence for all those we've lost here in the last year. Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, I'll remind you, Bill has recording on, so we are recording the meeting. And as we've been doing, and hopefully at some point will come to an end, we're going to let Paul step in first and update us on coronavirus.
Well, I'm glad to report that the rapid fall in numbers of new cases continues. I actually checked some numbers today, and that fall continues as predicted. Now, it's important to realize that the actual numbers are still very high. Last week in Northampton County, we had 166 new cases, and Cape Charles had 53. The report I sent out, I didn't have that updated, but it got updated yesterday. So, I mean, that's still incredibly high compared to numbers up until about a month ago. We never had more than 15 cases in Cape Charles in a week. 15 was considered very high. But last week we had 53. Now that's a whole lot better than 80 or something, I think, which we had at our height. It is falling rapidly. It went up very rapidly, and now it's falling rapidly as most everybody predicted. I reported last week that I had actually contracted a case of COVID myself. It was a very mild illness. It was like a cold without much mucus, and I was over it in about 4 or 5 days. I think that type of illness, when we enter the endemic phase, which hopefully is only another month or 2 away, will become commonplace. I think COVID's going to be around. It's not going to go away. People are going to get mild cases just like they get common colds, but it'll be something that we live with, and it's very important, of course, that everybody get vaccinated to reduce their risk of dying from COVID, because more variants will come. I think at this rate, I kind of looked at the curves and predict that around February 20th or so, we're likely to be back to where we were in mid-December, when we were actually the number of cases were felt to be such that we could meet in person. And I think with precautions taken, and we'll look at the latest CDC guidelines before our board meeting next week, and kind of decide, maybe pick a date when we can start meeting in person again. I would think the last Tuesday in February might be a good date, and decide what precautions must be taken at such a meeting. Any questions?
I'll just make one statement. Paul, you mentioned we'll have to learn to live with COVID. My understanding is it was first identified back in the early 1960s. So,
well, that was coronavirus, not COVID.
Okay.
COVID was specifically used for COVID-19, which was first discovered in 2019. The coronavirus has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah,
And coronavirus is the family of viruses that causes the common cold, in fact.
yeah, yeah. And let's hope that that's where we get to. It's no worse and no more doesn't spread any more than the common cold normally does.
Right.
Anybody else have questions for Paul? And we've all got our fingers crossed that he's right on this, that by the end of February, we can start meeting again. Okay. How about Invisible History Project? Mehdi, you want to speak to that? Oh, there she is.
I don't have anything new to report. The members are trying to schedule interviews, and Bill has an interview scheduled sometime in the future.
Okay. And I know we're going to have a meeting following this meeting, Bill, but how about some updates on the art raffle?
The art raffle is going gangbusters. We could possibly have 12 art items. And for the membership, since we last talked, did I announce that Gordon Camel had committed to give us one of his aerial landscapes?
Great.
Well, he's on board. Tommy O'Connor is a super guy. He gave us a antique duck that's worth $350, and he threw something else in. I don't know if we'll use it or not, but that's going up. But more importantly, he gave me a lead on another carver. Tommy O'Connor is a collector, not a carver. The supervisor down at the bridge, his name is Doug Brady, was referred to us by Tommy O'Connor. He does all kinds of carvings. And I said, what's your most popular one? He said, people love my whales. So he's going to do a whale for us that'll retail somewhere from $400 to $600. And it's going to be a contribution. And we've got other things lined up. We're going to have another, the committee will meet at 1:30, but it won't be long before we're ready to put this baby on the road.
That won't be a one-to-one scale whale, will it?
You know, I think maybe a baby whale, Chuck.
Okay.
Can you mute him, Bill? Can you mute him?
I didn't hear you, John. What'd you say?
I said, can you mute Chuck?
Chuck is the president. You can't mute the president.
Pardon me, Mr. President.
The only person I'm allowed to mute is Jackie.
Oh, yeah. No. That's a good thing, too.
I was just going to try and drum up some help for Bill to pick that up. That's all.
I'm pleased to announce that Marianne Clark has agreed to donate a print for
great.
sale at the raffle.
Terrific.
Bill, do you have any deadline as to when one can donate art?
No deadline. Right up until we print the tickets.
Yeah.
And Jim has joined the team, so we're going to have a little structure and discipline going forward.
We needed that.
Since we can't, I think if we asked Randy and begged, he might take over the leadership. Where is Randy? There's Randy.
He's not here today. I don't even.
Okay.
How are you going to have one raffle for the whole lot of art, or are you gonna do them individually as the library?
No, probably one for everything, but we haven't figured it out yet. And we're not gonna do anything before we consult with you guys. But I like the idea of selling a ticket that says you have 12 chances to win. Does that, or you have 15 chances to win.
The price is right.
Jackie says the price is right. So we got to
Okay.
figure all that out, but we've got a good marketing guy on the team now. So we're going to be okay. Thank you, Jim. Enough of that.
Okay, all right. I think I announced this last week, but I want to make sure I announce it again. We have Jim Rich on with us this week, and I want to let you know that Jim will be the next president of the Rotary Club starting on July 1 of this year. And Jim has already made an impact to the club here, and we really welcome him stepping into the role. And he's going to need all our support, and I know he will get it. He's got my support, and I'll ask everyone else that's a member here to let's get on Jim's side and let's help him out. We're all in this together. With that, I know one of the things we're looking at is increasing membership, and especially trying to attract the ladies into the club. So any ideas from anyone that will help us along the way to recruit people, but with a goal to let's get some ladies in the club too.
We'll start by welcoming Melinda, who just signed in.
Yeah, there we go. And one of the things that I wanted to do, hopefully starting in March, is to set up a table for a couple hours, maybe, every other weekend or something at Strawberry Plaza with some Rotary Cape Charles brochures, and just talk to people and hand out some brochures. As we get closer to Memorial Day, when the vacation season starts, maybe we step that up a little bit, but we're primarily trying to, of course, recruit residents. And pretty much if we start in March, most of the people we'll be talking to will be residents. So that's who we're targeting. Any step along the way that you come up with ideas for recruitment, glad to hear it. Pass it before Jim and I, and we'll be glad to take your ideas and put them into action. Jim, do you want to say anything about your role now?
I am very much a walk-on player at the moment, and I'm really just researching right now. I had a very nice meeting yesterday with Bill Murphy, and I'm conducting kind of a listening tour. I hope to be meeting with all of you sometime over the next month or two, and both to get acquainted and also to get your thoughts on what direction the various parts of the club ought to be going. And so after I've spoken to everyone, then we can start some planning in earnest. Last Saturday was pre-pets training. I've got pets training in March, early March. And so it's going to be kind of a busy and pleasant time. And I am hoping not to OD on coffee.
One thing I think I'd like to ask you to do, Jim, at some point, I know you have a long history with Rotary before Cape Charles, and maybe we work to get you on one of our meetings to speak to the group about your history with Rotary. Probably a lot of people aren't aware that you've served the president's position once before at another Rotary club. So things like that, I think we all.
And it survived. The Rotary Club of Wicomico County is still intact.
And I have to tell you, working in the journalism area as you have, and also photography, two of my kind of interest points, I'd be happy to hear a little of your history in both of those areas as well. So we'll take, after you get through the PETS training and everything, and before you step in as president, we'll take one of the meetings and just have you give us your bio. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll just interject that Jim's being characteristically modest. I think I looked him up in the Rotary International website, and not only has he been a president of a bigger Rotary club than us before, but he's also a Paul Harris Fellow. He has a long and distinguished history in Rotary already.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And we're all going to be interested in hearing about it. Okay, I wanted to mention while we've got Jim up here that he invited Dave Wilcox to come on with us because I think for the 2-county area in Virginia, we've got some pretty exciting news starting to form up. Jim, I'm going to let you introduce Dave, and then Dave, you can talk to us for about 5 minutes or so. And then after the event you're going to speak to us about, we'd be happy to have you come back and tell us all about it. Jim, go ahead and introduce Dave.
Dave Wilcox has a very long history of service. He, out of college, got very involved in the JCs, and he was state president for, I believe, the entire state of New York. He went on to open his own business. It's a government consulting business based in Northern Virginia. And he does a lot of development, staff development in the way of that, and is looking forward to bringing many of those skills to the Eastern Shore. He purchased a place in Bay Creek with his wife, Philippa, and we're just very lucky to have him today. Dave, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jim, and thanks for all the members of the club to kind of provide 5 minutes here. I have a little message I want to share, and I would like to just kind of introduce that here. When I first got to the shore, I was only coming here temporarily on weekends until the pandemic hit, and then I live here full time now. So one of my goals was to see if I could influence and help out voluntarily with the workforce development strategies for the Eastern Shore, and much of that's responsive to the comments that were just made. So I got the Accomack Northampton District Planning Commission to raise the priority of workforce development on the shore. And I have a couple of key points I wanted to make to that, because workforce development is a lot of different things. And it's not only attracting talent to the shore, it's developing the talent on the shore, it's assuring that the talent is matched with the economic direction of the shore. And so that's kind of the theme of my forum, which will be held on actually February 10th. If you like to hear that, I can send you an invite. It's being sponsored by the, by the Planning Commission. So the basic theme of the idea is there are 3 interrelated issues: people, employers, and the economic and the talent development systems and mechanisms that bring those 2 together in the right combination. So it's synchronizing that in some way, and there are 3 goals of what we call an Eastern Shore Eastern Shore workforce development, not just Cape Charles, not just Accomack, not just Northampton, but to look at that as a regional strategy. The goals are probably kind of evident. We want to make sure that businesses, public organizations have the right level of talent they need to perform their mission, be successful in their business. We want to make sure that every person has an opportunity to achieve their own economic and personal aspirations here on the shore, and also to enhance the overall prosperity of the shore. So if all those things work in combination, we'll have some success. It's not a short-term plan, by the way. These take years, but we're going to build on the strengths that are here. One of the things that you'll probably be very, very interested in hearing about I tend to follow these trends nationally and regionally. The fastest growing workforce group are people over 75. It's going to actually increase by 96% by 2030. That doesn't include anyone here, but you probably know people who might fit into that, or if and I suspect many of you work as well. But the younger folks, unfortunately, that population is shrinking, and so therefore we're retilting how we really look at the future of the work. We can't just bring new people in all the time. We've got to continue to enhance, rebuild, reskill, upskill folks already in the workforce, and that's part of the overall picture. We're gonna have 4 speakers. One will be David Pierce from NASA at Wallops Island, and he'll talk about what's happening with NASA, as well as, the economic development that surrounds NASA, which is Rocket Lab and others that are moving there. We're also going to have Brandon Mowry from the Precast Concrete speak about what's happening really with precast and what the future might look like there and its influence on the shore, including work on the wind farms that are building out across the area adjacent to the shore, as well as the influence of the effort called Go Virginia, which is the reinvention of Hampton Roads, whatever that means. So we are kind of in the center of all of that activity. And so the speakers will be Dave Pierce and some of his staff. We're going to have Brandon Mowry talk about a little bit what's happening there. We're going to have 2 organizations that support workforce development. They're both federally funded, state funded, and locally funded. And one is the Workforce Bay WIB, if you're familiar with these groups, the Bay WIB, which is, and we have also the Hampton Roads WIB, which is forming an MOU so they can provide state, national, and local resources to support workforce development. So that will be kind of the themes and messages really on the forum, which will be on the 10th of February at 11 o'clock in the morning. If you are interested in hearing about some of that or registering for that, we're going to try to keep it in an hour because I know it's tough. And I think the best thing to do would be to get, if you're interested in really registering, I can get an invite to anyone who would like to participate. I think Bill already, and I think Rich you are on the invite list, but I'm not sure about the other members.
Is there anyone who, this is a Zoom meeting, starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. Is there anyone who would be interested in receiving an invitation and a Zoom link? Okay, let me make a quick list. So we got Reggie, John Burgess, excuse me.
Jim, what I can do, I have the email invite to that and the hot link. I can email that out to blind copy everybody in the club. And if they wish to go ahead and attend, they'll have the hot link to click on.
Okay. Oh, to everyone. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's fine. Good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Dave, you're welcome to stick around. And we hope you do. And we hope to see you again, obviously, not only as a follow-up to this forum, but also maybe one day a member. We can use somebody like you very definitely in our club. So thank you for coming on and briefing us on this. It sounds quite interesting and exciting for the area.
Murphy has his hand up.
Bill, go ahead.
Well, I did have one question, Dave. You mentioned Rocket Lab and NASA Wallops. Have they made the decision on that yet to build their new facility there?
Yeah, it's not probably absolute. They're certainly looking at that, and of course NASA of course is the big draw there, and there are about 800 employees themselves. But attracting the resources and private resources that surround that will be, I'm almost certain to see growing. I mean, that's my speculation, but Rocket Lab is looking at it. That would be 250 employees, I believe. Certainly, there are already a number of private firms there, as you know, providing, building and helping to support the launch function.
Yeah, I know Wallops is on the short list for the final selection, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of waiting to hear about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm,
what,
I'm
Go ahead.
assuming, Dave, that you may be working fairly closely with the community college too.
yeah, right. I'm going to talk about the three supports because actually Pat spoke to the Rotary Club. I remember Pat Tompkins a couple sessions ago. Because the community college is a bridge. It's a bridge to work and a bridge to higher education. I mean,
Right.
whatever path you take. And the governor just on his inaugural address reaffirmed the commitment of the Commonwealth to assure that every kid coming out of high school is ready for one of two things, or more than two things, but at least being ready to enter a career through a job or to go on to higher education. So that's a pretty big challenge, but essential, I think, for not only the people of Eastern Shore, but also the businesses and employers that rely on them.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I'm going to join that meeting and I look forward to it. Thanks a lot, Dave, for briefing us on that. And as I say, you're welcome to stick around. And why don't we go ahead and do happy dollars, Bill? All right. I think I saw Bill Stram's hand go up. Bill, you can go ahead. You're on mute, Bill.
I have 5 happy dollars because my team took on a team from out west of this state here, a former part of this state, and I did them a job in basketball. So $5.
All right. Okay, who else got some? All right, John Burtis, we can always depend on you.
I'm going to ignore that one. I'm going to go back and visit the past here for a minute. Well, a couple of quick things. I have 15 happy dollars. 5, I get to walk my grandson to school 3 days a week, sometimes more. And that's a good thing. It's a neat thing. On the way back today, the second part of my happy dollars, I actually met a West Virginia graduate who lives here on Madison Avenue and used to work for the harbor people in Norfolk, now does consulting work from home. And last but not least, I'm happy to see Murphy here. After he wore the West Virginia shirt a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know if he died of shame or going to Morgantown to enroll. I'm glad he's here. I'll get back to you, Stram. I have nothing to say at the moment. You're on my waiting list.
He's spilling his Doritos all over his Hokies shirt there. Okay, do we have any more happy dog? Bill Payne.
Yeah, I have 10 happy dollars, 5 of which I'm happy about Dave joining our meeting today. Dave is a splendid guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few months ago. We've gone on a couple of meetings and we've drunk a lot of coffee together. So I tell you, I'm so happy that Dave is here and you guys are reasonably behaving yourselves. The second $5 is tomorrow morning. I'm getting up early and I'm driving to Richmond. I'm part of a delegation from the Eastern Shore focused on workforce housing, which is certainly related to what Dave has talked about. If we don't have a place for workers to live, then you don't have economic development and it all kinds of falls apart. John Burtis and I have been focused on this through our involvement with the Economic Development Authority. So we'll be going up to Richmond for 2 days. In that delegation will be the 2 county administrators, Charlie Kulikowski and Mike Mason from ACAMAC. And we're going to visit the various agencies that can help us on the Eastern Shore, as well as visiting with our elected officials.
Thank you, Bill. And you bring up a good point. It's a nationwide issue. Most people don't realize this. There is a housing shortage across the country. And that in itself is not a good thing. But the good thing about it is it can produce a lot of jobs in either rehabbing old homes or building new homes. It's going to be a good market for people in the home building and the home refurbishing business. So Bill, once you get through that, we'll have to have you talk to us about how that went. All right, go ahead,
Oh,
Jackie.
look out, Jackie's got her hand up.
You got the mic turned up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have $3 happy. I want to say it's a great thing that Mr. Payne and his cohorts are heading up to Richmond to discuss and try to bring about some changes in workforce development in this area. Back when I was on the planning commission with the previous last year's president of the board of supervisors, we tried very hard to put a focus on workforce development. But we got a lot of resistance from the community who felt that bringing in workforce development would change the environment of the community, the counties that we live in. So I'm happy to see us moving forward in that direction because it's a great need. I don't know about having Bill involved in it, but other than that, I think it's a great thing, and I'm glad to see that it is making some forward progress.
Could you up that to $5 then? If
No, unless you want to put 2 more in.
All right, thank you, Jackie. Any other happy dollars? Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to contribute 27 happy dollars today because that's a dollar for every year that I've been married to Ginger. Tomorrow is our 27th anniversary.
All right.
Oh, great.
Taking her out to dinner over in Virginia Beach.
Fantastic.
Congratulations, Paul.
You'll have
Thank
a
you.
good day for it. Okay, any more happy dollars? All right, well, we have a lady with us today named Melinda McPeak, and she's with the NAB Research Center up in Salisbury, Maryland. It's part of the Salisbury State Teachers College campus. And I lived in Salisbury in the early 70s, and I never got down there, but it was one of those things that I wanted when I was living there. I need to go there and visit the NAB Research Center. It's loaded with a lot of historical touches on the Eastern Shore as well as Maryland. I'm going to let Reggie, do you have anything you'd like to add? I'm not sure. Reggie.
No, other than to say, I want to thank her for joining us. I know we reached out and connected about a month and a half ago, and we finally got you on the schedule. We know that you have a busy schedule, so thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and joining us and sharing information. I also know that you've been working with us on the Invisible History Committee with Medi as well, so thanks again for that.
A lot of people don't know it, but Salisbury was always known as the crossroads of the Eastern Shore. So
one other tidbit about Salisbury, I took my SATs in Salisbury back in the 60s.
And yeah, I got that name aptly as Crossroads of the Eastern Shore because of Route 50 and Route 13 crossed right there in the Salisbury area. Melinda, welcome. And tell us a little bit about yourself, and then go on and speak to us about the NAB Research Center.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me to speak today. And I see some familiar faces. So I'm Melinda McPeak, and I'm the Curator of Exhibitions and Engagement at the NAB Research Center. And I thought today I'd just give you a little overview of what we do and the sort of programs and events and resources we have available, and talk to you about some exciting projects that we've kind of got in the works. So I've got a few slides. I'm going to try and share my screen. Hopefully this works. Let's see.
We got it.
Okay, excellent. So We are officially the Edward H. Knabb Research Center for Delmarva History and Culture at Salisbury University, but that's kind of a mouthful, so we usually just say the Knabb Center. And the Knabb Center has been around since 1982, and we've always been a part of Salisbury University, but in 2016, we moved into a new state-of-the-art building, the Guerreri Academic Commons on campus. So we actually have the entire 4th floor of that building, and you can see this is a picture of where we're at. And we're really fortunate that it really is a state-of-the-art facility. We have wonderful storage for archival and artifact collections. And really our mission has all along been to preserve the history and culture of the entire Delmarva Peninsula, so including Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Most of our collections were very heavy on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, but we do have a lot of items pertaining also to Delaware and Virginia. So we really work very closely with the faculty and students. And we kind of serve as a humanities laboratory on the SU campus. We provide training to students in archival and museum studies through hands-on work study and internship opportunities. And we also have a classroom within the center where we can host faculty and students across the disciplines and allow them to really interact with our collections. So, but I will say our facility does not just serve the SU community, we serve the entire Delmarva community. And we have research services, programs, exhibits, and events that are open to the public as well. So. And here's a few shots of our facility. We have a reading room and a non-circulating library. We have archival storage, which is state-of-the-art. We are really pleased to have this space to preserve and continue to collect these materials. And they include everything from manuscripts and photographs to audio, video materials. We also have a digitization lab, and we're in the process of actually our digitization lab has been more for internal use, and we do work with other organizations to help them digitize collections as well. But we're sort of embarking on a new project to have a public digitization lab where members of the public can actually come in and we can help them digitize their family materials and help them as well as other smaller organizations on the shore. So hopefully you'll be hearing about the launch of that pretty soon. And we also have about 8,000 objects in our collection. And that's a big part of my role at the Knabb Center. I care for the objects in our collection and also utilize these materials to interpret different aspects of Eastern Shore history through our exhibits and events programming. And this is our collection storage area. Again, we have a nice climate controlled space, movable storage units. We have rolled textile storage, art storage. We're very lucky. And as far as our exhibitions, we actually have a permanent exhibit gallery. And our exhibition is Delmarva, People, Place, and Time. So it really highlights the history and culture of Delmarva. And that's available all the time. And then every semester, we usually do 2 temporary exhibitions. So we actually just opened 2 new exhibits for the spring semester at the beginning of this week. So we're going to be featuring an exhibition of photography by the photographer David Harp. And it's called Where Land and Water Meet, Chesapeake Bay Photography of David Harp. And I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but it's pretty amazing images. You can see the 2 bottom images are his. And he not only captures sort of the landscapes and the people and the culture, of the Chesapeake region, but also the show is a 40-year retrospective. So he is also focused on environmental changes throughout the Chesapeake Bay. And so it's a really great show if you get the chance to come see it. That's in our downstairs exhibition space. And then upstairs, we have an exhibit called Unmentionable, the Indiscreet Stories of Artifacts. And we've pulled together a lot of items in our collection that really tackle some kind of uncomfortable subjects. And it's sort of those items that end up in historical collections that you're not quite sure what to do with, but we have things like mortuary equipment, and we have mourning jewelry that's made of human hair, and war souvenirs. And then we are tackling some issues such as racism and sexism and popular culture. So those are 2 exhibits that we have right now, and they are open and available to the public during our open hours, which are Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. And we also do special tours. So for example, if members of the Rotary Club wanted to come and schedule a tour with us, we'd be happy to show you around and give you a tour of our exhibitions. And then if you can't make the trek to Salisbury, I know it's a bit of a drive. We've also, over the last 2 years with COVID, we have been really kind of shifting focus from the physical to the digital realm, like so many others. And we have been digitizing a lot of our materials and making those available online. And most of these materials are available on our website. We have our Finding Aid portal, which allows you to search through our archival holdings. We have a lot of new digital collections that have gone online. So our photograph collections, many of them are now on Flickr. And Internet Archive is a platform that we use a lot for oral histories and transcriptions of oral histories. So over the past 2 years, we've scanned, I would say, tens of thousands of items, photographs, transcriptions. A lot of our students were working remote last year, so a lot of that work is being done. So we're happy that we have all this material available online. You can go to our website and do a lot of research from the comfort of your home and not even have to make the trip to Salisbury. And one of the things that I've been working on with our exhibits is actually using a platform called Omeka. And we're putting a lot of our exhibitions online. So you can go to our website and browse through our exhibits as well. And another platform that we started using at the onset of COVID is a mobile app called Clio. And this is something that was developed at Marshall University by a history professor there. And it is really a virtual tour site to historic and cultural sites all over the country. And the NAB Center, we sort of experimented with this last year and put a tour of the SU campus and the NAB Center online on Clio. And I also I'm on the board of directors with the Cape Charles Museum. So we did a virtual tour in Clio of the museum site. And we're really excited. One of the things we also launched last semester was a digital humanities internship. This was a accredited internship through our graduate history department. And my colleagues and I at the NAB Center co-taught this course, and it culminated in what we're really excited about and just launched this past week. And that is Salisbury's Black History, Georgetown and beyond. So this is a walking tour of the Black history of Salisbury. And I thought I'd just pop that up for you. Let me stop sharing for a sec. Okay, can you see that? Great. So we're really excited about this. Our intern basically spent the semester kind of, her internship culminated in this project, and it really encompasses a lot of primary research. She utilized a lot of our oral history collections to incorporate information into this tour. You can see this is what Clio looks like on the web, but it's really designed for a mobile app. So the idea is you can have your phone, you can pull this tour up and go along to these various sites. Because it was a semester-long project, there's 7 stops. We had to make sure Salisbury's a little bit larger than, say, Cape Charles. So it had to be, we wanted it to be a walking tour, and it's only about a mile total. So, and it's designed that you could do parts of the tour or the entire tour and hit all the stops. And just to kind of walk you through a little bit of what it looks like. And I wanted to show you this because I have been working with the subcommittee on invisible history of African Americans in Cape Charles. And this is one of the platforms that we've sort of been looking at as a possibility for doing a Cape Charles tour. So, and I can certainly, I can send the slides, which has all the links to both our NAB online resources as well as the tour. And we're really excited. We just launched the tour last week. We've already been getting a lot of interest in it. The city of Salisbury has been promoting the tour, and actually the student, and I will mention her name, Allison Stansel, she was our graduate student who put this together. She's being interviewed in about an hour for the local TV station to talk about the project. So we're really hoping it gets some traction and that a lot of people will take the tour. And I think it's, if you're familiar at all with Salisbury, there were quite a few different Black neighborhoods that were really prosperous. And basically when 13, you were talking about that crossroads, when 13 and 50 cut through, it really cut through many of these neighborhoods. So the tour is interesting, I think, because there's really not much there now. So being able to utilize things like historic photographs, like I think this is a really telling photograph. This is kind of a before and after. So the photo on your right shows Route 50, and the photo on your left shows prior to Route 50. And this whole neighborhood, this section was really a prosperous Black neighborhood at the time. So you can really see the change there. So I think it's really interesting to be able to do a tour like this where you don't have much that's remaining. And I know in Cape Charles, there's still a few things remaining, but a lot of it is no longer there. So how do you interpret something like that? So I think it's kind of an interesting way to do that. And so she's also included, so lots of historic photographs and documents and sort of a background. There's not a ton of text. One thing that still remains for this tour is that there's an audio component, but our student and we felt that it would be better to have members of the Black community actually do the narration of the tour. So that's something that's in process. And so we'll be having different members of the community actually do the audio portion of the tour. And you can see another really interesting thing is that you can add this additional information. So you can scroll down through this and go to historic newspaper articles, listen to actual oral histories. There's videos and just a ton of resources if you're interested in learning something more beyond what's in the tour. So that's sort of the NAB Center in a nutshell and some of what we're working on. And the other thing I'll just mention briefly, just before joining you, I was in a meeting for another project that we're working on. It has not launched yet. We're hoping it's going to launch in the next few months. And that is called Enduring Connections. And it's actually a database that we're developing at SU and the NAB Center to bring together resources on African-American history on Delmarva. And we're pulling resources from multiple collections, census records, cemeteries, our own manuscript collections, manuscripts from other local historical societies and universities. And the idea is to bring all of those resources in one searchable database, making it a lot easier if you're doing research on African-American history on the Eastern Shore to find these items. So that's something that we're hoping to launch in the next few months.
All right, Melinda, I am very interested in what you're talking about. I've been doing family history since 1995. So for 27 years, I've been doing heads down genealogy work. My grandmother, my mother's mother, her origins of her ancestors came in through the Eastern Shore. So I have a lot of family over here, including into the Salisbury area, but primarily they came in the 1600s in through St. Michael's and through Caroline and Talbot County, but of course, over time spread across the entire Eastern Shore, mostly in Maryland, but a little bit in Virginia and somewhat in Delaware as well. So one of the things I found lacking a little bit in Maryland, I spent many, many hours over in the state archives in Annapolis, going through all their records as well as all their roll of tapes and stuff. And they've been kind of behind the curve on digitizing a lot of their records and so forth. They're kind of stepping it up now. And I'm glad to hear the NAB Center is doing the same thing. That's one positive about the COVID virus thing is a lot of organizations like yours have started stepping up, digitizing a lot of their records. So thank you very much for pushing on that. I was wondering though, are you looking at family histories there? Are you looking for contributions of people making their family history available to the NAB Center?
We are always interested in that sort of material. And we also have a researcher and genealogist at the NAB Center. So we do a lot of that as well. We offer request services both online and in person.
I'll have to speak with you a little bit about that. One of the fears of a genealogist, you could probably talk to that person, is you've done all this work. I've got 84,000 people that I've researched. You've done all this work and you know, if you pass away or whatever, all that's just sitting on your computer and that's about it. And you really want to be able to pass it on to an organization like yours to make it available much more widely than just your family. So I will touch base with you on this.
Well, you know that Melinda is working with the Invisible History Committee as a consultant in terms of what we're trying to do. And I see that there's a lot of interest in incorporating Black history and doing these walking tours. And I really would like our work to move forward so that we can already market it to the public, because a lot of organizations have been doing it now and super and much more ahead of us. So I think that we have enough interview material that we can probably start doing the tour that Melinda will be helping us with. And the work.
Have you been working with Melinda up to now, Medi?
Oh, yeah. We have been
Okay.
talking, and she has met with our committee and
Terrific.
going to help us. Yeah.
All right. Okay, any other questions or comments for Melinda?
Yeah, Melinda, first off, I'd like to say welcome to our little meeting here. It was very interesting what you spoke on. But I'd like to ask you a question. That walking tour that you have through the NAB Center is, can I get, and once, if I pull that up online, can I take the tour itself right there?
Yes. You don't have to have a mobile device. You can do it right from the website, and I'll provide that link to everyone so that you can spend a little time looking at it. You can also, it's interesting if you wanted to print that out, for example, and have a printout of the images and text to take with you if you didn't want to bring your mobile phone, or if you're in a location where you might not get good reception. It enables you to do that as well.
And this is really what we are trying to do for the Invisible History. We are going to do a similar tour.
One other thing, Melinda, that interested me, you showed that overhead view, the aerial view of the north side of where Route 50 is in the town there.
Mm-hmm.
That was all burned out by a big fire back around 1900, right?
There were several fires in the area that destroyed many of the neighborhoods there.
Yeah.
And that's, if you look at the tour, it's all in the tour as well.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions, comments for Melinda? Well, Melinda, like I say, you really perked my interest. So I'm a big history buff, and especially local histories and family histories. So I wrote down your hot link for your website, and I will pass it around to all the membership as well. It's www.salisbury.edu/libraries/NAB. And I will get that hot link out to the rest of our club as well. And I think I'm going to be interested, once this COVID thing blows over, come up and actually take a walkthrough tour of your facility there. And thank you once again for briefing us on this.
Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you for having me. And I'll share my slides too as a PDF that has all the various links, and I'll put my contact information there as well.
Great. You have my email, so just go ahead and forward it to me. And Medi is also our newsletter editor. I'll get it over to her, and she can put it in our next newsletter as well.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments for the good of the club before we get ready to end the meeting? Okay. Bill, why don't we do our thing? The Rotary motto, the things we think, do, and say. Number 1.
Is it the truth?
Number 2. Is it fair
to all concerned?
3. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you all very much. Have a great day. It's a pretty nice day out there. The snow's almost all gone. And
you forgot something, Chuck.
Did I?
Number 5.
What's that?
Stanley.
Number 5.
Will we have fun, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Melinda. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye.
See ya.
Bill, we're going to stay on with you, right? Or come back at 1:30. You're on mute, Bill.
We'll stop this and come back at 1:30.
All right, see you then.
Oh.